Down. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the Elks Call presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
And today we have you, the listener, the viewer, as our guest. Very big episode. We have a ton to talk about today. Bunch of Elks news dropping here at the 6 to 7 o'clock range. And then, of course, we have a little bit of Commonwealth Stadium modernization news as well. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. And we're not even including the Edmonton Elks defeating the Calgary Stampeders in Calgary.
Of course.
Like, that's how this week started for everybody is, Edmonton Elks win in Calgary, potential to get the sweep against Calgary. So it's massive week, massive news, massive times. We see you in the herd chat already, everybody. Good evening once again. Welcome to the Elks Call. We'll get this show started in just a moment, but first we got to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in tonight, whether you're watching on YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or on Facebook, which would be the Elks Herd, or whether you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts. While we're here, if you could hit the like and subscribe button while we're at it, we would greatly appreciate it. We're almost we're one away from 200 as it stands right now. So
one away,
almost about to change 200 here, as our friends at EST would say. But let's give you the lineup for today's show. We're going to open up with some special announcements from Shotgun Sports Network. Then we're going to dig into the Herd Report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks game news and transactions. That's where we have some meat and potatoes there. We're going to give you an Edmonton Sports update after that, and then we're going to cap the show with a major fan forum in regards to Commonwealth Stadium. We're going to be hashing out a couple of questions there because, as we know, we got some pretty good news as broken by the Elks Herd. So I'll take that. But yeah, we're definitely going to be digging into that later on in the show. That's going to be in the fan form. Herd chat, you know what to do. Blow it up. Oh, thank you, John Kirby, for the check on the shirt. Yeah, I had a little bit of wardrobe malfunction there. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
The joys of life.
The joys of the herd chat. See, this is what it's about.
Live streams.
Yeah, live streams. Okay.
Yes.
So, let's move on to our announcements here. Let's get this out of the way. We do have quite a few announcements here for Shotgun Sports Network. One, we do have a creator co-op section over on Shotgun Sports Network where we celebrate other great content providers, content creators. So I believe you can find Ray and Benny Talk Sports over there, which they're really good stuff. Ray and Benny Talk Sports, Mick Aussie as well, and Coach Phil. So, some people that are involved with the CFL community here in, podcasters, just content creators in general. Coach Phil, he does some crazy reactions. So feel free to go over to shotgunsportsnetwork.ca and check that out. Next big announcement. Puckin' Pigskin has joined the Shotgun Sports Network. So if you watched last week, if you watched our episode, Jason Basic was on our show of Puckin' Pigskin. We kind of had some conversations about him starting it up, and he is joining Shotgun Sports Network, and he's a Stampeders fan. So, we get somebody to talk to, but more importantly, he's another great creator and a podcaster in the community. So really thrilled to have Jason on Shotgun Sports Network. Very thrilled. And Puckin' Pigskin, September 15th or 16th, in that range, I believe he's going to be back on the air. So stay tuned to Shotgun Sports Network for that welcome back episode, season 2 of Puckin' Pigskin.
Yes.
Next up, I don't know if many people know about this, but there is a burger cook-off this weekend at the Edmonton Elks Tailgate.
Yes.
So at the tailgate party, there is going to be a little bit of a burger cook-off. There's a couple people selected for that.
Sponsored by Save On Foods.
The rep from Section X and Do You Even Elks are going to be competing out of stall 182.
There you go.
Very exciting. So stay tuned for that. We do have a Herdy's announcement in the Edmonton Sports update. We'll keep you posted if there is going to be a little bit of a shutdown at Herdy's.
Just before we move on, we do have Andy, fun size Andy over here. I'm pretty sure Jason cried when I showed him that contest. So we definitely have some exciting entries coming up.
Yeah.
I know Scout is in full competition mode now. So
yeah, I'm already thinking about what kind of burger I'm going to make. So, we got 2 to 3 days notice here on this. So the gears are turning. Stay tuned. We'll tell you exactly what we do on the next episode for sure. And then finally, the Tailgate Chili Cook-Off at the October 5th Saskatchewan Roughriders game. We will be doing our 2024 second annual Tailgate Chili Cook-Off. So it's going to be very exciting. There's going to be 25 traditional chili spots, and then there's going to be another 5 for vegan chilies because we want to be inclusive here. We want everybody to enjoy chili. And at the same time, we also know that there's going to be a lot of people already, like 25. That's a lot of sampling as it is.
Yeah, and just to point it out, we're going to change things up a little bit just to make it a little bit more fair. We do understand that there were some issues last year with some of the votes.
Yeah, we had something going on there.
We had some weird stuff going on. So because of that, we decided that we're going to have 2 different votes. We're going to have judges that will actually have a criteria to judge the chilies off of, and they will be the ones getting the main prize, including the trophy. And then we will also have a fan vote, just the people's choice vote.
Yeah, so it's going to be
people will still have the choice to give out samples, and people will vote for their favorite, and they will also get a prize.
1 vote per person, right? I mean, we don't want to have the same scenario happening as last year. So no fudging of that. We're going to be the central booth for the voting over there at 182. So that's going to be very exciting. Now, if you do want to enter, send an email over to admin@shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. Include your stall number with that, and we can set you into the lottery. We know that we're going to have more than 30 people apply for this, so we will be doing a bit of a lottery system. And if you want to do vegan, please specify, and if you want to do traditional, specify as well.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe we will have it. We should really think about the full rules. But if more than 25 people still want to make chilies and have that be on the people's choice,
yeah,
that still counts.
Why not?
That would be okay. But the 25 will, the 30, I guess, in total, the 25 and the 5 vegan will be the ones that the judges will have special criteria.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, we got a pretty good matrix for it and everything. It's very organized this year. So very exciting. Once again, we will be handing out those pamphlets at the next home game. So keep an eye out for Kathy. She'll be flagging you down, or it could even be myself. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be making a burger, but
yeah, no, I'm going to be slinging. I'll be slinging those pamphlets,
slinging flyers. Before we get to the tailgate pass giveaway, Goodwill is a partner of the next game. So if you go to the game, please bring a gently used item. I did have somebody actually ask for us to mention this. So it is very important. Goodwill is a fantastic place, fantastic cause. I like shopping there just, out of thrifting, but then people are also shopping there for necessity, right? So always support your local Goodwill and stuff like that. And you have the opportunity to do that this Saturday.
Yeah.
So bring a gently used item. Tailgate pass giveaway. If you are interested in winning a tailgate pass, text barbecue. We're gonna give away this pass at the end of the show, and you have to stick around. I mean, we'll give you overnight and all of that to re-listen to the show and figure out, if you jump off or whatever. But to enter this contest, to earn a tailgate pass, it's directly beside us. It's a pretty good spot. If you've never gotten to park in the tailgate, it's pretty fun, and we're giving you the opportunity to do this. All you got to do is text barbecue to 780-307-7779. Text barbecue to 780-307-7779, and we will choose a winner at the end of the show. Good luck, everybody.
We'll make it fun. Right beside us, even though we are entering the contest for the burger cook-off, we're still making wings for everybody else. So we're still sticking to our Herdy's menu, and we'll have plenty of food, plenty of good time. So come hang out with us.
Yep. For real. No, it's gonna be a fun time, and it's the Labor Day rematch. But first, we got to get into the Labor Day Classic. Why don't we start with the Labor Day Classic with the Herd Report, where Kathy brings you the latest Edmonton Elks game recap, news, and transactions. The Herd Report is brought to you by the Forge Podcast. Experience the latest in Birmingham sports with Ryan Messer as he gives you the latest news and updates. Find the Forge every week on Shotgun Sports Network. Forge on. Zach Zilla in the Herd chat before we get into this. Can I park my scooter there? Zach Zilla, I don't think so. But
you can park your scooter on our stall if you want. That's okay. Right beside the truck.
Yeah, I mean we'll take care of it. Yeah, but could the scooter take a full tailgate spot though? That's a good question.
Know about that. But yes. And right before I move on to that, I did see the question from Andy over here. Where did you get the glass? I got this glass. I'm pretty sure it was at the store.
Team store. Edmonton Elks Team Store. Go say hi to Christine and get that glass.
It's a really nice glass. But all right, let's talk game. Let's talk about the past game. The Edmonton Elks got their fourth win of the season after winning against Calgary Stampeders during the annual Labor Day Classic on September 2nd with a final score of 35-20. Yay! What a game.
What a win.
What a game.
What a win. What a win.
And yeah, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
We got entries.
We do. Nice. Awesome. Let's talk about the first quarter. Let's start the game. And the start of the game was a bit questionable. I'm not going to lie. I thought the game was going to go very differently when on the opening drive, MBT had an incomplete short pass to Mitchell that forced us to punt the ball away. But that has been the problem, hasn't it? That this team has been so inconsistent that you really don't know how any game is going to go. You don't know. You're not confident. You're confident because you know that they're a good team. But at the same time, something goes wrong. You're like, oh, is that how it's going to go? Is it going to be that kind of game? Right? So right at the beginning, I can't say that I was too overly confident.
No, especially in the first quarter as well. I mean, second quarter, it took a while, and we're going to get there.
Yeah. I was proven somewhat, and I say somewhat because it was a really good play, but I was proved somewhat wrong with that beautiful 31-yard pass to Curly Gittens Jr., which set us up for a really long drive. And although it didn't result in a touchdown, we did have a series of first downs and a solid field position by the end. We did end the quarter with 2 single points as well. So at least there were points on the board.
Points on the board, and
Rouges at that, but
you're kind of waiting for that third one to come too. You're like, yeah, I like this. It seems like it's going to be one of those games. And Jake Julian is usually fire. He usually nails coffin corners, but
he had a couple of bad ones. I'm not gonna lie. Even in this first quarter, we had 3 back-to-back penalties.
Yeah,
MBT with that intentional grounding.
Yeah. Didn't look good when he's running away and throwing it down. And you're like, is this how the game's going to go?
Exactly. Time count before the 3-minute warning and an illegal punt for Jake Julian. So
which that doesn't happen very often. No. So it looked like it was one of those jittery, almost like a playoff scenario where, both teams are kind of like they're hesitant to make a big play or to do anything crazy. And at the same time, the defenses were doing really well at stifling the quarterbacks.
But at the same time, those are issues that we have seen before. The O-line not pushing back enough for MBT not to feel pressured.
Yeah.
Right? And then special teams, of course, not performing the best. So we've seen it before.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in this game, spoiler alert. I mean, we've all seen it by now. We've had to have seen the game, but
if you're here, you've seen the game, most likely.
Special teams phase was the disappointing part of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Special teams phase actually struggled.
Oh yeah,
in comparison to the offense and the defense by the end of it.
yeah.
And Jake Julian never struggles, right?
But I mean, that took us to the second quarter. We started the quarter on a first down and another fantastic pass to Gittens Jr. for 34 yards after a successful rush by Mitchell. A couple more rushes, and we got close enough for Dean Faithful to get our first field goal from the 41-yard line.
Nice.
Now that's important.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I don't want to discount the deep down the middle pass to Gino Lewis for 34 yards that follow that. But seriously, how does Faithful go from scoring a field goal from the 41 and then missing one from the 29-yard line?
Yeah, and it's for whatever reason, it seems to be a thing. It's a theme. It's not just a thing, it's a theme with this team over the last 2 to 3 years. The kicking is not consistent ever since Sean White's been gone. Hugh, even going back to thinking back, well,
you look at Sergio
Castillo, yes.
Right, Sergio.
He also had issues
on the kick. He had issues, and he's killing it at Winnipeg. Well, he's had some really, really good ones. Yeah. He's had some really, really good ones. I mean, it's always hit and miss with that one, but he's had some really, really good ones. And it's still not Boris Speedy bad.
Well, an interesting Sinjin here in the Herd Chat. What up, Sinjin? Is it the hold?
Interesting.
And I believe that on the analytics side of it, somebody had mentioned that it might have been a bad hold for that miss, right? That Dean Faithful miss.
For that particular one.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You don't necessarily think about the hold.
Well, and I'm pretty sure Jake Julian in those scenarios, Jake Julian, I'm pretty sure is the guy holding it.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who's holding it.
If consistently the kickers are off and we have the same holder, could that be the issue? Something to think about.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
But it brings up a really good point, because it's not like this is new to us. We have seen it year after year, that we have kickers that are supposed to be amazing.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they just fall flat on their faces.
Well, exactly.
Like Boris Speedy, right? So, but thankfully, the defense showed up in the responding drive and held Calgary in place. MBT had his groove back by this point, and we saw some solid passes, including a 32-yard to Tavin Jones. That got us close enough for the end zone for Gino Lewis to run it in for the touchdown from the 10. So, plus the 1 point from Faithful, of course.
So it was nice to get that, right? It was nice to get that, because you finished that quarter strong. You finished the half strong. You needed to show some form of dominance going into the half, knowing fully well that this team has a third quarter problem, or at least did have a third quarter problem.
Yes. I mean, Calgary did score 2 field goals during this quarter, though, so we knew that the Elks would have to work for it in the third.
Yeah.
And that was a concerning point, because we have seen how they perform during those third quarters, and it was scary. It was scary because it's not like they had a really big lead or anything, right?
No.
It's not like we had it at that point that it became a really worrisome point when we were going into the third, and we know how thirds usually
go. And I mean, it did feel a little bit different, but you were hoping it was different, and you were also watching to see, okay, are these guys going to mess up another third quarter, right? And we didn't have that.
Guess what? We broke the streak.
Third quarter streak.
The Elks put some points during the third. Yay, there you go. And what a quarter, so many ups and downs. It was stressful, I'm not going to lie. And it was really exciting at the same time, too. The Elks were on the field for over 8 minutes on a single drive. All from the Edmonton 19 all the way to the Calgary end zone for a touchdown. It was a tandem of Javon Leake and Kevin Brown rushes, 7 first down, a tired Gittens Jr. because there were a lot of passes to Gittens Jr., and Tavin Jones' first touchdown from the Calgary 7-yard line.
Tavin Jones. Tavin Jones had one heck of a game.
I got some stats on that coming. So, we also have another cover kick from Faithful, of course. Yeah, so that was an exciting drive. That was a lot. But maybe the defense got too much rest,
Yeah.
maybe they got too much of a break and they needed a little bit of a warm up because Calgary responded with a touchdown of their own. Still though, points on the
Yeah.
third, so
Points.
we'll take it.
Points in the third are very hard to come by for this team, and they seem to have broken through it. And I
Yeah.
think that fourth,
Is that Steve Benassi over here does bring a point. We did break the spider cam at some point. Was that during the third?
yeah. So I believe that was in the third. It was around the third. Yeah, because we had momentum in the third.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
So for once, the Edmonton Elks had momentum in the third, and the spider cam broke.
I know.
You know you have to tweet about that because like this is the first time in how long that this team has actually done something and they're moving the chains and and all of a sudden it's cold.
And then they have to take a break.
Yeah, you turn off the heat
on.
and you make them cold, right? It's like, what are you doing?
I know. I remember thinking like, oh, there goes our momentum.
They ended
There
up
it
pulling
goes.
the spider cam, I believe, for the rest of the rest of
I
the
do
game.
believe so.
Felt
That was
bad
funny,
for like Dustin Nielsen and company being like, no, but it makes really, really good shots. Like, don't worry, guys. It's not, the spider cam isn't a bad thing. We don't have to get mad at the spider cam. And Elks fans are like, what
Take
the
it
heck?
away.
Move the thing.
Move it. We just want football. But yeah, no, that was I do remember that. That was pretty funny until you realize that there was a little bit of a break and you're like, come on, man, we had some really good momentum. Where's this going? But going into the fourth quarter, at that point, we only had a 7-point advantage
Right.
going into the fourth. So the Elks definitely needed to secure the win with some extra points. And they did not disappoint in this quarter, the last quarter. On Calgary's drive, Purifoy came in clutch with an interception that set the Elks up for a wild drive. After a pass on a 2nd and 10 to Geno Lewis, which was a fumble,
Tevin Jones
he
swooped
in. He swooped in like nothing happened and recovered that ball and kept going. And he nearly took it all the way, but ended up being tackled at the 1-yard line.
Like he was right there. He was that close to a hat trick. He was that close to a hat trick.
The play ended up being a 106-yard effort without it being a touchdown.
It's crazy. And I think that's once again another one of those things only in the CFL.
Yeah.
It's only in the CFL moment.
It's so exciting to watch some of these guys play. Like Tevin Jones I seriously thought that it was a pass because I didn't even realize that it was a fumble because of how smooth that was. And he just grabbed it and kept going like nothing happened. It was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I listened to him explain it, right? And yeah, the ball hit the ground. It came out of Geno's hands, hit the turf, and he scooped the ball. He scooped the ball, and he just ran with it. So and it's also nice to have that kind of athleticism from Tevin Jones as well, right? Because he's a guy. If you listen to his story, he's struggled to make it to where he is today, and he's loving this season. So to have more guys loving their season. When was the last time we saw players thrive like this with this organization and to be able to say that they're having the best time of their life and the best ball of their lives? We're talking about a 4-8 team. Yeah. We're talking about a 4-8 team, but this is the trajectory right now.
And that's just it, right? Even if the Elks don't make it all the way, even if the Elks don't necessarily have a great season, how many records have these players put out already? How many players of the weeks have we seen from the Elks?
How many honors are they getting?
How many honors, right? So the players are thriving.
They are. And they're thriving under the Jarius Jackson system right now, which that's crazy. But it's also the team that Chris Jones built. And excuse me, I understand that people really love to harp on Chris Jones. And maybe at the end of the day, he was still the one that was getting in everybody's way. He didn't build that bad of a team. They have done some adjustments, but even just like shout out Elks Solos in the Her Chat. Best 4-8 team I've ever seen. And they really are. You take a look at the points for and the points against, right?
Yeah.
This team has not lost by very much. This has been a flywheel waiting to take off.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give it to Chris Jones for putting the pieces there. And now it's just a matter of working with the pieces the right way.
Well, and building a healthy locker room and
Of course.
like
That
a
always
healthy
makes a difference.
culture, right? Is where
Yeah.
I'm going with that. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that, maybe there were some things that got in Chris Jones's way, as in,
Mhm.
Chris Jones's ego and maybe a couple other things. But at the end of the day, the team wasn't bad to start the season.
Mhm.
They just looked really bad because the team didn't win at home anymore, and the team,
Right.
was struggling to win, and you went 0-7, and now a 4-8, and
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to make it to the playoffs right now. You control your own fate.
Mhm.
But turnovers very big. We had 4-5 in that last game.
Yeah.
So Purifoy 2, Bynum 2,
Yeah.
two
No, but
intercepts, right?
against us, like because of our turnovers at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
that's
No,
why we
turnovers are a
started.
big
Yeah.
piece for why we started 0-7,
We
and
fixed that up.
and now
100%.
turnovers are a reason why this team
Mhm.
is winning, right?
Yep.
It's funny how that works. Sorry,
Yep.
I for whatever reason I didn't catch that last piece
Mhm.
there, but yeah, I mean that's how football works.
Yep.
You take a look at most games, 80% of games. You take a look at the turnover stat.
Yeah.
The team that wins the turnover battle generally wins the game.
Mhm.
And this team, I mean, untimely and very costly
Yeah.
turnovers. MBT throwing away the ball earlier in the year,
Yep.
right? Having a hard time.
Yeah.
The freak stuff. And this is what actually I was listening to EST, and they were talking about this as well. The bounces never went our way.
Mhm.
You take a look at that Tevin Jones bounce. The
Mhm.
bounce went our way. The bounces are going our way.
Yep.
So that's good football players and good football teams make that happen. Sorry.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a comment here by Andy. There were some great flashes of brilliance during the losing streak, and now we're seeing them come together more. 100%.
Cohesion.
Yeah. Yeah, they looked at their mistakes and knew what they needed to fix, and they fixed it, and
Yeah.
now we're seeing a big change. I do have a question about what you said, but let me just get through this fourth quarter before I do ask it. Right after that play that Tavin Jones had, Dakota Prukov punched it in for the touchdown, with Dean Faithful kicking it in for the extra point. Right after that, Calgary had an extra long drive, but Binham, is that it?
Bynum. Bynum.
Bynum came in like a wrecking ball and intercepted that pass. However, the Elks weren't able to do anything with that. And worse yet, they did allow a 104-yard kick return touchdown for the Stampeders. So that's not good. That's
Once
not
again,
good.
special teams, right? Just
Yeah.
the phase that couldn't quite do it in this game.
Yep. Well, and that's just it. But thankfully, the Elks responded in kind with a 73-yard pass to Tevin Jones, which resulted in his second touchdown. Plus, yet another extra point from Faithful,
Yep.
which is good. And, and although at this point, I think we all knew that we had the game, Sean Oakman?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I forget names all the time. Sean Oakman still got himself a sack, and Purifoy got another interception to get us the ball back. Jake Julian then got us another rouge, his third one of the game, at the 1 minute and 11 seconds left mark. And Calgary really couldn't do anything with that.
Everybody's favorite point, Canada's favorite point, right? The rouge.
The rouge.
And Jake Julian got too many of them as opposed to coffin corners.
Right.
And had you gotten a couple of those coffin corners earlier on in the game, it would have taken a little bit of steam out of Calgary.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we'll take points on the board.
In many ways, I still think this game was a little close.
It
And
was.
And my question is, would we have won without Calgary making all those mistakes? If it wasn't for the turnovers that Calgary had and the mistakes that they had, penalties and whatnot, do you think we still would have won the game?
Yeah, and I mean that is a good question because the Edmonton Elks managed to capitalize
Mm.
on those moments, right? On those interceptions. So I don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I
And
mean,
the fourth, it's also hard to say too because the fourth Calgary petered out. The Elks kind of ran away with it. Now we did allow that return touchdown.
we did. And it was a punt. Elks, thank you. It was a punt return, not a kick return. It was on the punt, correct? But we did definitely allow that. So that's a big
Yeah, and
on
you
us.
can't really let the foot off the gas that much.
Yeah.
You still got to do your job out there, even though you're cruising to a win. Shut them down.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I asked that is because in the past couple of games, even though they have been wins, or the past couple of wins that we've had, it's like we definitely take advantage of the fact that the other team is making mistakes. Hamilton did that.
But that's the polarity of the season, because that happened to us
Very
so
true.
much earlier on in the season. So it really is. It's also like saying, what if we didn't miss that field goal?
Very true.
What if we didn't? It's those scenarios. It's situational football.
Yeah.
So there's moments we could have easily lost momentum in those moments when you miss the field goal. That's a now all of a sudden we're at bad field position relatively for the points.
Well, at the end of the day, you just have to take advantage of every single little opportunity that comes your way.
Yeah.
So if it's mistakes from the other team, you capitalize on those and you make something out of them. 100%.
And the Elks did good at that.
Yeah, for sure. I still think once again that it was a little close, and there are things that could have been fixed here and there. I mean, with the bad, we've talked about those. Of course, the O-line still creating a bit of problems. I mean, the offense in itself and the defense were really good, but the O-line, especially at the beginning of the game, still creating a little bit of problems for MBT to feel comfortable, I think. And that's why we saw a couple of penalties there for intentional grounding.
Yeah.
That. And, of course, special teams.
Yeah, special teams was the red X on this one. Defense and offense, and especially defense. Defense led the way for the offense to do their job. Defense created the turnovers. Offense created the points. So it was complementary football. This was one of the few games where you could say it was true complementary football. So it was really, really nice to see.
It was exciting because you seriously, even in that third, you didn't know where it was going to go.
No.
If it wasn't at that fumble, if that fumble had gone wrong, the game would have probably gone the other way.
Yeah.
Right. So it was, in many points, it was really exciting, but there were some really good parts about this game. Edmonton Elks, they recorded a season high of 586 yards of offense.
Crazy.
So season high, crazy.
MBT almost throwing for 500.
Yeah, he completed 25 of 36 passes, airing it out for 486 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was named the CFL Pro Football Focus Honor Roll. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
For week 13 as the best offensive player. Like, what do you do with that?
He starts. He's starting next game for sure. There's no way you can't take his job away after that.
You don't have a fan forum question about this, do you?
No.
No. Well, let's talk about it right now. What do you do?
No, you start MBT. No matter what, you have to. You can't destroy a man's confidence like that when you're, essentially playing the hot hand. The Edmonton Elks are playing the hot hand. The guy played an amazing game. You can't kill his confidence like that.
Do you still play Trey Ford?
You might be able to. You might be able to get him in, some form of play. You can still maybe have him in for, I don't know. Yeah, design plays, right? It'd be for a design play, but even then you don't really want to destroy any sort of tempo that MBT, because MBT plays with tempo. So you don't want to destroy anything that MBT is doing. So I don't really even know if you actually put Trey Ford in unless MBT gets injured.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I agree. I think you got to play the hot hand.
Yeah.
You got to go with what's hot. You got to go with the momentum. You got to go with the guy that has the confidence right now. And MBT has the confidence.
Yeah.
Although I do think that they should play Trey Ford. But like you say, maybe just assign plays or give him quarter or something.
Well, an MBT hasn't cost this team games.
Yeah.
Like, let's just once again reiterate. He's cost this team probably 1 or 2 games this season. Let's say that. But it once again wasn't solely on him. And if he would have had complimentary football, then he would have been able to make it out of those games.
Yeah.
But even at that point in the season, his confidence was pretty beat up from losing 7 straight games or 6 straight games or
Right.
whatever, right? So I like I said, I wish that Trey Ford would have started in Hamilton for that game, or sorry, the Hamilton game
Yeah.
here at home. Sorry, I wish he would have started against Hamilton. I think that would have been the best time to get Trey Ford in, besides the fourth quarter. Have
Yeah.
him start that game and get MBT his confidence back, and then let's say
Yeah.
Trey Ford gets injured. Well, then we're probably looking at this exact same scenario,
Yeah.
except with one more win.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing about MBT as well is the lack of consistency, right? Even though he has a really good game, chances are that the next game's not going to be as good.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen a couple of wins from MBT, 2, 3, but it's not like we have seen that consistency that he can continuously bring the same kind of game to every single game that he's playing
No,
in.
but he almost just threw for 500.
100%.
So-
But what happens if in Calgary he just does the opposite?
Well, then Trey Ford would be
Right,
starting,
yeah.
right? So I mean, it is what it is. You're
Yeah.
riding the hot hand.
I think it's fantastic that you have the choice of 2 really good quarterbacks.
This is a fantastic problem to have if you're the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah.
You have a quarterback controversy. You have 2 very, very able, very, very good quarterbacks in
Yeah.
your camp, and they're feeding off of each other too. You don't know what happens with MBT in the next game.
Mhm.
That's the other thing, right? You don't know what happens with these players from game to game.
Yeah.
I've been through the Michael Riley scenario with Jordan Lynch and James Franklin. I've seen the Logan Kilgores. I've seen, even Matt Nichols. I didn't like Matt. I have never been a big Matt Nichols fan, but yeah, I mean, there's so many quarterbacks that step in and step out, and this is the most ideal scenario if
Yeah.
you're going for Grey Cup. Seriously, if
What
you're
a
going for a
problem
deep,
to have.
if you're going for a deep run, this is exactly what you want. Going down the stretch, you want to be streaking. You also want to make sure you have insurance policies
Yeah.
against some of these players.
And I think that's the main reason why I say that Trey Ford should still play. Because you also don't want him sitting on the bench and not getting any sort of practice. Well, they get practice, but in-game experience. Right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to go deep and if anything happens to MBT or if they start playing tandem depending on their performance, whatever it may be. Right? You also want him a little warm.
No, I wouldn't.
Throw him in?
No, I wouldn't put Trey Ford in unless you absolutely have to. Because what happens if Trey Ford gets injured on just trying to mix it up? Right?
No, for sure.
It's
hard.
it's hey, Trey Ford has the bigger ceiling. He has the bigger ceiling. It's still good for him to sit behind MBT and go through these moments as well.
And so far, we only get MBT for a year. Right? He only has a 1-year contract.
So we don't know.
We don't know what's going to happen after this year. So might as well get our money's worth. Get him to do the job that he was hired to do. Spend our money wisely by utilizing him.
That's it.
I say our money like I'm the one paying for it, but you know
you
what
are
I mean.
not paying. Larry Thompson
you
paying for
know
it.
what I mean. So definitely agree. Play the hot hand. But let's talk about Tevin Jones. 208 yards on the day with just 5 catches.
Big yak yards.
Just short of a hat trick.
Big
by
yak.
1 yard.
Big yak yards.
Crazy.
Tevin Jones, signed this guy to another 2 years right now. Seriously, Tevin Jones, he's playing amazing. He's going to definitely demand some money. I hope we can keep him on the roster because he's crazy. Like keep him into 2026.
You know what? As long as they don't get too cocky and too demanding, like we saw with AC Leonard.
Yeah, well,
you know that they overprice themselves and then nobody wants to take them.
That
right?
happens.
So that happens, but he's definitely worth his pay for sure. Right now, he's definitely we're seeing returns from that guy. Another one, Curly Gittens Jr. He was the top graded receiver for week 13. So he caught 7 passes for 115 yards. He recorded 2 second down conversion catches and caught 2 passes from 30 yards or more.
Yeah.
So another good one. And we had just talked about this, the whole Curly Gittens Jr. situation versus, Jake Ceresna. Was he worth it? At this point, he kind of was.
Labor Day Classic, he puts on a classic performance himself, and
Mhm.
yeah, he was a favorite target out there, which was
Mhm.
nice to see.
Well, but we
MBT
know,
did a good job of spreading it out.
yeah.
He did a really good job of spreading it out, but it was good to see Curly Gittens Jr. get more of those like clutch catches, you know?
Well, and that's the reason why we got him, right? Because of the chemistry that he has with MBT and what they can do together.
Yeah.
And we definitely saw that in this game. Another guy, of course, Gino Lewis, 112 yards in the victory.
Casual.
Lovely.
Casual 112. And that's like that's a mediocre day for
That's just
for
another
Gino.
day.
When you have Gino Lewis at 112 and Tevin Jones at 208, that's a good team right there.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good.
And then Javon Leak, too, just going in there.
Yeah.
I know he was, he's in the rushes, so usually the rush guys, they don't get a lot of yards, but he's so exciting to watch. I can truly say that Javon Leak is my favorite player to watch.
Yeah.
Anytime. Every time that he goes through those guys, I made the comment that has anybody compared him to pinball because he looks like, the little ball in a pinball machine that he just, he looks like that. He's so much fun to watch. And then you see all these guys, Kevin Jones, Curly Gittens Jr., Gino Lewis, we have Javon Leake, we have Kevin Brown, we have, Mitchell, we have all of those. And you're like, holy moly, what a team do we have? So
it's good to have. It's a good problem to have. And like you said, Javon Leake, he has that explosive play style, right? Like he 1 minute he's bouncing and then all of a sudden he spins and he's gone. So... It's a thing of beauty. And it's also nice to see the Edmonton Elks with an intense run game, which is something that has felt like it's been missing since even James Wilder has been on the team. And even then, James Wilder just willed it into happening. James Wilder just dropped his shoulder, and unfortunately it's that kind of play style that messed his back up.
Right.
So, we haven't seen this for a while.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this type, and it's the versatility. It's the differences in the styles as well with these running backs. Like, running back Rankin will drop a shoulder and he's got that kind of like brute force thing, small but mighty. And then Javon Leake spins away. He's got his spin move. And then, Kevin Brown,
he pushes through.
Yeah.
He's like a little bulldozer.
Yeah. So it's great to see the running back corps.
Yeah.
With this kind of versatility and this kind of like just to see how different they all are, but still be able to contribute. And I think that's also what throws teams off, because you plan for one play style and you're going to get another. And with the Edmonton Elks right now, they're able to mix it up even without having Trey Ford on the field. They found a way to get that running game and that running aspect. They found a way to vary it up and to mix it up and to confuse the other team, confuse the defenses. You don't know which running back we're going to necessarily play until you see them running onto the field, or if you have two of them lined up, you don't know which one you're going to get.
Yep.
So it's cool to see them really elevate that part of the game.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting football that we're getting nowadays. We should be thankful.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. We did have one transaction on September 3rd. We signed American defensive lineman Jordan Strachan was signed. So we know a
Welcome
Strachan.
to the herd. We do know a Strachan. We do. Shout out Ray of Ray and Benny. Talk sports.
Injuries. It's so good to see a whole bunch of availables in the injury report. I'm not gonna lie. So we only have 2 players right now that are marked as out. DK Bonhomme.
Bonham.
But whoa,
It's DK Bonham.
I got that way wrong.
You did. It's okay.
Linebacker. He was out with a hamstring injury. And
Les Moreau. Oh no.
Out with a calf injury.
That is very disappointing.
So, but what's next? We have the Labor Day rematch on Saturday, September 7th at 5 p.m. It's family day, so
it's burger cook-off day, but it's family day.
It's family day. In case you didn't know, up to 2 kids get in free with every adult ticket purchase. There is going to be an expanded brick Bricks Kids Zone. Wow, I'm struggling today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brixley, not whole gang over there.
Yeah. Carnival rides in the Elks Fan Park.
But carnival rides.
Yeah. And even though you can always find food at Hardee's at the tailgate, you can also stop by the Double E Tailgate Central for a free hot dog.
What? What is this Double E Tailgate Central?
I don't know what it is, but it's on the website. So
well, that's really cool. I'm happy that they now they have their own tailgate. The Double E has decided we want to be in this too. We want to cook it up and shove it up like Hardee's and the Turf District and all those fine folks. So,
so they have some free hot dogs if you so wish. After you come by Hardee's first, and then you can go get yourself a hot dog if you're still hungry. I mean, come on, burgers and wings versus a hot dog. Just saying.
Well, it's hot. Yeah, hot. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
But also, as John over here says, the first 10,000 fans will receive a free cowbell at the gates.
That's huge. So finally, we see the return of a decent giveaway upon entering the gates. At Commonwealth Stadium. Finally, you enter through the turnstiles, and you get a freebie directly to the palm of your hand, and it's a cowbell.
Yeah, get all those cowbells in kids' hands. Teach them when to use them, and we're good to go.
That's smart. Yeah, exactly. Make the kids do the cowbell action, and let's let them run wild with those cowbells. As long as they're making noise when the Stampeders are on offense.
Yeah, then we're good. We're good.
You're set.
Yeah. So
prediction.
Yeah, what's a prediction for the game?
28-10, Edmonton Elks destroying the Calgary Stampeders here in Edmonton. I will say 28-10. That's what I'm going to hope for here, because it would be really nice to see our defense step it up another level. Like, they're like, and it also depends too, is Calgary going to play at quarterback? Right now, Jake Mayer, I will tell you that he's not feeling the most confident in his game. Calgary was feeling confident throughout the season because they were always winning at home. But guess what? The Edmonton Elks makes 2 losses at home in a row.
Yeah.
So if I'm Calgary, I'm stressed. If I'm Jake Mayer, I'm not feeling the most confident. He's going to come into Edmonton. He's going to get destroyed. And I mean, maybe he does step it up, right? But if you're playing the same team that just picked you off for 4 times, come on. I we'll see how he does. We'll see how Jake Mayer does. He comes back with a giant comeback performance, right? I don't know. In my opinion, based on what we just saw, it would be nice to see a clean 28-10 win. Yeah. What do you think?
No.
I'm not good at predictions. I don't do predictions.
Listen, it's worked for me, so I'm just gonna leave it.
You could have just guessed it.
Definitely check out our latest article over at chuggandsportsnetwork.ca.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt Morrissey for the latest masterpiece.
No, probably not. He hasn't. He didn't quite. That was from old show notes, babe.
Oh well, you put it right.
I didn't check through it. But either way, check out our latest articles over at shotgunsportsnetwork.ca, and still shout out to Matt Morrissey because he is awesome and writes fantastic articles. Also, stay tuned on that note. Stay tuned to the latest article that will be going up for tomorrow morning. We do have an article that will be going up on the last game and getting you ready for the next game against the Calgary Stampeders here in Edmonton.
Yeah. But before we move on to the Edmonton Sports update, talk to me about this town hall meeting with Larry Thompson.
With Larry Thompson. So Larry Thompson tonight has announced, or in the town hall with Larry Thompson, the Edmonton Elks have announced that gold numbers will be returning to the Edmonton Elks jersey. Oh, by the way, the Edmonton Elks jersey, it's going to be new next season. Oh, on top of that, the Grey Cup will be returning to Edmonton 2026 if the Edmonton Elks don't drag it back here. by conventional means.
So now they still have to put in a bid.
So the bid is in.
The bid is
The
in.
bid's in. So we'll find out.
Mhm.
We will find out if the Edmonton Elks get the 2026 Grey Cup. Which,
Mhm.
remember, 2026 we were supposed to get the FIFA World Cup,
FIFA,
right?
right? And that's why we didn't put in a bid.
Well, and coinciding with all of this, there's a Commonwealth Stadium modernization plan that has just been approved. Let me get that news. Get
Well, we're
my
gonna
news
talk
music
about
back.
that. We're
No,
gonna
let me get that
talk about
news
it.
music back. But no, so that modernization plan that the city of Edmonton has recently approved,
Mhm.
it kind of coincides with a 2026 World Cup,
Right.
or alternatively, if you can't get the World Cup, you could get the Grey Cup.
Mhm. Very true.
I mean,
I mean,
not quite
well,
as big on an international scale, I will say that, but
yeah.
it is another event that will get you at least 150K crowd. Plus, it obviously invigorates
Right.
whatever host city it is in. The Grey Cup is always going to be one of the best Canadian pastimes, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of those events. It's one of those Canadiana pieces of fiber in our Canadian cloth here, right? The Grey Cup is fantastic. I love the Grey Cup. It would be nice to see it return in 2026.
Mhm.
And I think that that's huge news on its own.
That would be.
But
That definitely would be. I mean, is that I don't know much about the schedule of a Grey Cup, but I know it's not very common to see, East and West, and then East and West, and then East and West, right?
yeah,
Usually you have a lot more the West because they have more cities rather than in the East, and it's usually a few years before you see another one coming back.
well, and now Montreal, I think Montreal doesn't host very often.
Hmm.
Toronto, they do try to do the East and West. They do try to go
Yeah.
back and forth, right? So you already know it's going to be like 10 years. Every time you get a Grey Cup, you're guessing it's going to be somewhere between 8 and 10 years. So we hosted in 2018. Now it's 2026 is when we're going to see it return.
Hmm.
So there's your 8-year cycle that you
Right.
kind of expect. And with Montreal not ever really hosting, it's 8.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Ottawa
That's
hosts, like every
exciting.
other team hosts. This year it's BC, Vancouver, BC Lions
Hmm.
hosting the Grey Cup this year. We will be there. It's going to be a blast. But that's it's something that I've also been looking forward to, because having the Grey Cup here and having the Calgary Stampeders fighting for the Grey Cup on your turf and celebrating in the Double E locker room, it ruined it for me. It
Yes.
ruined it for me. You visibly frustrated right
I
now.
hear
Visibly
about
frustrated.
this.
It was a horrible event. Horrible event for a true fan of the team, of the building, of the Double E, right? It didn't work for me.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be nice to go to
Traumatic.
it's gonna be nice to go to Vancouver and to get to go to a true road Grey Cup where it's not our
Right.
building and we can, run
Mhm.
amok and have fun and blah blah blah. But then it's also gonna be nice to host again. Here's the thing. This team better be a winning team.
We
Because
have
that
2
year, as a
years.
fan, it is more stressful. The 75th, we kind of knew that the team was once again like an iffy thing this year. We didn't know
Right.
where the team would be, right? It's not like you have the pressure of winning, having a
Mhm.
winning organization. As a fan, you're going to get to experience this soon with this
Mhm.
team within the next
Mhm.
couple of years. This team is going to give you the fan pressure of winning, being a winning team. You always have to have a winning team. You always have to, you're just basically always cheering for wins like we always
Mhm.
do. But when you're that bad, like that 2023 Edmonton Elks bad,
There's no
you're
way.
just like, yeah, well,
There's no
at
way.
least we had fun. Like, oh well, the tailgate was good. It's different. You're just kind of like
Yeah,
praying that the team eventually gets a win. So
of course. You always want your team to go all the way
so
when you're
then you
hosting it.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly, right? But yeah, when you're hosting it, it's
Mhm.
the most stress ever as a fan.
Yeah.
Like BC Lions fans were probably just like,
Well, that's why they went for Nathan Rourke, I
and
think. That
Matthew
was
Betts.
that was their Hail Mary. So
They
that
did it.
they have to make it all the way.
But yeah, no, enough talking about
Okay, the
the
last thing that I want to say about this is
BC Lions.
going back on those numbers, the gold numbers. I am really glad that we are no longer going to look like the Green Bay Packers. So, you don't understand how many times when I make my game day graphics and I'm looking for a picture of Bethel Thompson and BT and a picture of Love pops up. And they look exactly the same. And then I look at the helmet and I'm like, oh, wait. That's Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, no, this I don't know who made the decision to do the white numbers. It's not an Edmonton look. Edmonton has never had that. That's an Edmonton look, and that's a new look.
Yeah.
So, and even then, this is compromise, but there's no white on this jersey at all.
No.
0 white on that jersey, so they couldn't have white in it even if you tried.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple, we are not the Green Bay Packers. The one thing that distinguished the Edmonton Eskimos, we'll say Eskimos, Edmonton Eskimos, between them and the Green Bay Packers, well, you had the gold and the white numbers. That was the number one thing.
Matt over here on the chat, come from Detroit. I don't want Edmonton to look like Green Bay.
Well, unfortunately, Matt, go Pack.
Well, and listen, you only cheer from Green Bay Packers because they have the same colors as the Edmonton.
No, and because my very first NFL game day was in Wisconsin.
Very true.
In Waconomowoc? Where is it? It's something like that. Or Waukesha? I don't know. Waukesha. Anyways, shout out to my friends out in Wisconsin. Wishing your team, and of course, go Pack. But wishing the Packers the best of luck on Friday night. Before we get to our Edmonton Sports update, once again, we will announce this one last time. The Tailgate parking pass. If you would like to win a Tailgate parking pass,
right beside us,
text barbecue to 780-307-7779 and make sure you include your name, because I did see some texts come through, and we want to make sure that we got your name because we want to announce you as the winner live on air. Joe Pritchard, living in Wisconsin. Shout out Joe Pritchard of Rouge, White, and Blue in the herd chat. You pronounce those right. We'll let you come back someday. Thanks, man.
Anyway,
I have spent some time. Not just in Milwaukee or the airport. Alrighty. Next up, we have an Edmonton Sports update. Today's Edmonton Sports update is brought to you by Herdies. Our very own rep from Section X will be competing in this weekend's Tailgate Burger Cook-Off against 6 other opponents. Due to the cook-off, there will be an interruption in service between 3 and 4 p.m. We apologize for the inconvenience. Herdies, we smoke the meats. Your Edmonton Elks are currently 4-8 with 4 wins in their last 5 games. The Elks look to finish the Labor Day sweep for the first time since 2002. And a win against the Calgary Stampeders this weekend would seal the deal. Catch the action on Saturday at Commonwealth Stadium. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Mountain. The Edmonton Oilers have begun informal skates at Rogers Place, signaling the start of the NHL season in Edmonton. Your Edmonton Oil Kings begin their preseason in Edson, Alberta on Saturday, facing the Prince George Cougars in a somewhat neutral game. Puck drop is at 2 p.m. Mountain. In BCHL action, the Sherwood Park Crusaders are also back in action on Saturday, defending Randy Rosenring versus the Brooks Bandits. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. Mountain. For more on the Edmonton sports scene, check out our weekly sports articles on shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. We're the Outside. You're up to date. Please note, we'd like to thank you for supporting the network by shopping on or with our affiliated links, which can be found in the description below. We're a self-funded media company at Shotgun Sports Network, so we thank you for shopping with Shotgun. Royal Retros, royalretros.com. Remember when the Edmonton Elks lost to those 1974 Montreal Alouettes? Guess who supplied the jerseys to the alumni members? royalretros.com made those jerseys. So shout out to Royal Retros. If you want to save 10% off on awesome IFAF, like football, Team Canada gear, they're the exclusive provider for that. And then on top of that, of course, all of their throwback merch, including a sweet Warren Moon inspired jersey. They got the green and gold, I believe, or something like that. But go check them out. royalretros.com. Save yourself 10% with code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces. Fanatics, hit the link below to shop online with Shotgun and Fanatics. They always got a good deal. There's always some form of deal over at Fanatics. Go check it out. And then Lather Canadian handmade soap. New scents have dropped. So rustic pumpkin is that's the basic fall scent here that we're gonna go for.
The basic
word. We ain't
scent.
gonna swear today until maybe until the fan forum. We'll see. But anyways, getting back to Lather without the E, go check them out. Lather, LATHR, Lather without the E. Use code Shotgun Sports 20 to save yourself 20% off over at Lather.
Not gonna lie, I did ask today if there were some for women.
Because you know that the deodorant lasts forever.
It did. I'm so tired of it. I bought like 2 new deodorants at the same time that you're going through these bars.
It's crazy. And then, of course, we do have some segments available for sponsorship. So if you are interested in sponsoring the show, jump on into our email at admin@shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. Our viewership is on the rise. Grow with Shotgun and get your business noticed. All right, fan forum. Time to open it up.
Okay.
Let's open up this fan forum, best segment of the show, unless we have a guest. We are opening up the fan forum in this segment. We talk about hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. Blow up the herd chat so we can get your comments onto the show. Today's fan forum is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. Americans talking Canadian football. Oz and Joe can now be seen on Shotgun Sports Network, bringing their audibles to your screens. Everyone's favorite point, white and blue. All right.
First one.
Just cracking this non-alcoholic beer here. Excuse me. Okay. First we're gonna make this one giant big topic, okay? Yep. This is gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit different. And Andrea, I like your question here in the herd chat. We do see it, and the herd chat, we know this is the best part for you guys to get your comments onto the show. Oh, nice. Real quick before we move along, I did see here Brooks Bandits versus Sherwood Park Crusaders exhibition game on Friday is $5. Huge. So head on down to the Randy Rosen rink, $5 to go see some awesome BCHL action. Go say hi to Len while you're at it. Shotgun Sports member Len.
Yeah, they're also looking for wow, I spaced out on the word. Volunteers. Thank you. They're always looking for volunteers. We try to volunteer at least once every year.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. You get to watch some really fun hockey and meet some really cool people, and it's tons of fun. If you're interested, just message Len. Go to the Sherwood Park Crusaders page. They have a post about it.
Yeah, we'll also get you connected as well if you want to volunteer and you don't know where to go. Feel free to get at us, and we'll gladly get you connected. You know, it's one of those help the community, help the crew, one crew, hashtag for the crew. Crusaders are awesome. You know, we've gotten to volunteer multiple times. You volunteer for what, 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours, and you get to enjoy 3 hours worth of hockey. So nothing wrong with that. And hey, got to support our BCHL teams and the other minor leagues as well.
Yeah.
But big topic here tonight on the Elks Call. This is the one that everybody is waiting for, modernization. And we've talked about this so much on this show. So much. Like, we talk about things that we want to see from Commonwealth Stadium and upgrades we want to see. And we talk about this so often. And what are the odds? The Elks herd drops the news on the modernization. And I'll tell you the funny part. I'll tell you the news and then we'll tell you the funny part about this. So the city of Edmonton has recently approved a Commonwealth Stadium modernization project that would see, I said wider concourses, and the correction was reduced congestion, reduced congestion. So they're trying to build or trying to renovate Commonwealth so that it has reduced congestion, windows that replace metal panels, and there's some other updates like such as the washrooms. They're doing all of this in and around Commonwealth. So this modernization it's a lot bigger than just the stadium. So the project still requires funding in order to move forward as per the city of Edmonton. Okay. Catherine, do you have some pictures for us here?
I do. Let's take a look. I'm gonna have to put them
Unfortunately,
one by one.
Our listeners, sorry.
Yeah, the listeners won't be able to see them, but you can look up the pictures.
If you do go to @the Elks Herd on social media, on X particularly, we do have the link in there for the city of Edmonton that has all of these renders.
And I'm just going through them. Here we have a picture of the concourse. I have questions.
Well, why is it Hamilton colors?
Well, it's just a design. That looks, and the picture of the bathroom, I'm not gonna lie, but that looks like a mall bathroom. Like if you ever go to Kingsway Mall,
it does look like a mall bathroom.
That looks like Kingsway Mall's
or an
bathroom.
airport bathroom, depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
No, airport wouldn't be that fancy. I think that's a little fancier than airport, but
that was like Kingsway Mall. I felt like I was in Kingsway.
Kingsway Mall bathroom.
Yeah.
All right. So, first thoughts, Catherine. Commonwealth Stadium renovation, modernization. Can we please bring up the picture of the glass panels again?
Right.
Because I think we should look at the glass panels and then let's take a look at this one for a minute.
You know that on a hot summer day, when people are outside dying on the east side of the stadium, we all go up to the concourse to stay cool. What's gonna happen when you have so many windows to let the sun in that you cannot stay cool even in the concourse?
Seriously. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? This is one of those places where you go to maybe get out of the sun, right? And if you're on the west side here, that glass is coming in at the west side.
Right.
Right? It is trying to kill you. That sun is trying to kill you through that glass, and then you add the BTUs of people all around you, depending on if the Edmonton Elks are doing well or if you're at a concert, Metallica with that glass.
Well, usually, those are later in the evening, but even for the opening acts, everybody was dying.
Yes.
They were taking refuge in the concessions and in the concourses to stay cool.
Now, I do think that they would add blinds. So they would have to add...
I don't know. I don't know if they would.
Yeah, because even Rogers Place has blinds for their giant windows inside of the building.
Yeah.
So, I see something like this. Well, I would assume that they're going to do blinds because you can't cook people alive like that. But, do I like the light? I do. I do like the light. I don't like the numbering system that they're trying to go for here instead of getting rid of Section X.
That might just be
for the render.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A mock-up. It's not necessarily what it's actually going to look like, but it's just a mock-up.
And the reason why we adjusted our statement or our news, our breaking news on this, the reason why we adjusted our statement is because it's really hard to make the concessions wider. It's virtually impossible without
When I read that, I was thinking, how is that going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, there is absolutely no way with the structural, components of the building, that they would be able to get away with that unless they're completely ripping apart concessions and ripping apart bathrooms and pushing those back, maybe, because you can't move the stairs. You just can't.
No, but maybe find a way to maybe like they have to find a way to solve the congestion, and that's what they're doing. Is they're working on reducing congestion without increasing the footprint of the concession. In my opinion, I don't see how you do it unless, like, let's say you're like, even then the POS systems, they upgraded them, and we saw bigger lineups and bigger congestion this year for Metallica and 2 shows and Heritage Classic than I did at Grey Cup.
Yeah.
Grey Cup, I had little to no issues moving around.
Yeah.
Mind you, that was back in the day when you could re-enter the stadium. So maybe I didn't have to go all the way to the north end, if you know what I mean.
That's true.
But,
and I mean, yeah. I really don't know how you fix that. I really don't.
Without you, like, in my opinion, you almost have to make it wider or build a system that can go around. Like, let's say when you go to the east and west concession and you walk through those doors, what if you had another set of stairs that allowed you to go through? And I know why. It's because the kitchens are right there.
Yeah.
So it's like, they have to do something architecturally, like structurally. They have to make a structural change. But the first photo you showed had an extra building on the LRT side near Gate 9. Can we please go back to that one there, Catherine? Yeah, that one there, yeah. So they're saying yes. So take
this? No.
Yeah.
No, that's where.
Well, that's your concessions. That's your east and west concessions, yeah. So I don't know unless they're going to incorporate it into the concessions, but even then, that's why it's already like that, is so that people can move around and move through there.
Yeah. Now keep in mind that these are just renderings. They're just mock-ups. That's not the way that is going to look. I mean, the first thing that I said when I saw these pictures, I was like, why is it white? Like, that's horrible. That looks like the contemporary, houses that you see around the river valley that have absolutely zero personality whatsoever. I love the green and gold. I love the way that it looks. Please don't make it look like an airport. I know we saw that somewhere in here. Ryan Messer, I was thinking airport. So please don't make it look like that. But this is just, something that they're putting out for ideas, because the reality is that we don't even know if it's really going to happen.
Yeah, this is pending funding. And the reason why this came out when it did was because of more than likely the IFAF, right? Steve Benassi here in the herd chat, sadly, I believe, with the current city council in place, this will not get funded. They are fighting with 13 to 14% tax increase due to poor budget management. And then he said, sorry to get political. And I mean, unfortunately, the politics side of it and the all of those pieces, I'm not going to lie, I do not pay too close of attention to what our city hall does, because I have my opinions on that as it stands.
Yeah.
But and let's all leave it there. But the reality is that the city has let Commonwealth slip to this point.
Yep.
You look at every other major stadium. Even look at Lumen Field in Seattle. They go through renovations, right? Every 10 years, you should be doing something major, not just add an LED strip. This stadium, this poor stadium, has been allowed to rot. And now we're at the point where we basically have to give it a major revamp or spend $500 million tearing it down.
Well, and I think that's why I was glad for these news, for the news that you broke, for the Elks news. That, something like this really means that they're looking at just revitalizing, putting some money into it and keeping this building. I've always been a big supporter of keeping it, because it's a historical Canadian building that would be a tragedy to tear down. It really would be, from a historical point of view, and just the stories that you've heard about that building.
Warren Moon. Part of the reason for Warren Moon coming to Edmonton was being able to play in a nice big stadium and to be able to see the 50,000 plus
Yeah.
in Commonwealth, right? Well,
Well,
it was 44 back in the day, or
and
42.5.
the possibilities of that stadium. I mean, we just saw a crazy Metallica show. Pink was just as crazy from what I've heard. You don't get those kinds of shows anywhere else. And
No.
we've talked about that before. The possibility of perhaps, getting some Olympics in the future, Winter Games. The possibility of another FIFA if it ever comes this way again. I know we kind of butchered that one this time around. But it is the possibilities that a stadium like that brings in the future. So put in the money, spend the money. And I totally understand that, now the question is, where is the money going to come from?
Well, and yes, and I do want to talk about this because what are the odds that this project comes out? Sure, it's probably because of FIFA. Let's say it's because of FIFA. Let's say that these renderings were here and existed and whatever. But Larry Thompson is now in that owner. And Sinjin, I see the comment in the herd chat. I mean, Larry owned a successful construction company. Is that if anyone is gonna know how to change and update the structure, I'm sure he has a good understanding of what it already takes. Now, he did civil construction, so he did roads. He didn't quite do PCL style construction. He didn't do architectural construction, right? He was mostly building roads. But what he does have is he has money. So the Edmonton Elks are the main tenant. It doesn't mean they have to pay.
No.
But
I feel like it would be a little unfair to put
but
everything on Larry.
at the same time, now they also pay a lease, right? They already pay a
course.
lease. They do pay a lease. They pay their dues to the city of Edmonton as it stands.
Mhm.
But they do also put a lot of wear on that building. The Edmonton Elks, having the fans up and down those steps. Why do you think some of the stairs in Section X are talking? Right? It's because we're hammering away on them at least 20 games. And, that's 20 times 40 times that again by 2. So 80 to 100 times we go up those steps in a season. Times that by however many people.
Of course, yeah.
So, the stadium's going to wear. Also, the plumbing is rotting out of the building. The stench of Section X. You can smell the waft from the broken sewer pipe that's still broken down the road.
We smell it every time we get a whiff of that. We're like, oh, do you smell that?
Larry shouldn't be paying lease anymore. Larry should buy Commonwealth Stadium.
Yeah, we said that. I mean, he probably does have the money for that, but
then you can do whatever you want with it. Yeah. You can stay. How many comments did I see today about bad hot dogs and bad burgers and bad food and this and that and the other?
Yeah.
And we're just talking about the modernization of just like the building, right? And people are like, yeah, I'm sick of eating food at Commonwealth Stadium. It sucks. And I'm not going to speak on the food service provider or anything like that. I don't care. But at what point don't you look at this scenario, especially owning the team, and your team, your success depends on the city of Edmonton owned building. At what point don't you just buy the building yourself and do everything yourself? And then, because really it's an asset, it's an investment.
Yeah.
But at least you own Commonwealth Stadium and you can do whatever you want.
And John does make a really good point over here, saying that the city has spent money on renovating the Expo Center, Convention Center downtown, the Remax Field, Rogers Place, and Commonwealth is just kind of,
And we're not gonna get any political more than this statement, but the government of Alberta did help the Calgary Flames with some funding for their new arena. I'm gonna mention it. And I know we're gonna get comments in the herd chat because it is bussin'. But if you don't think Edmonton's not gonna get something at some point here, Edmonton is due for some government cheddar in that aspect. Now let's getting back to who's gonna pay for it. I think we're gonna see a combination of government, municipal, and Larry Thompson. Then if I were to try to look into a crystal ball right now, that's what I am predicting. I don't think that's going to be 100% accurate, but I think it's going to be a combination of taxpayer and
Larry.
Private and Larry. And really, I mean, something's got to give with this stadium because it really does need modernization. you take a look at Pink, you take a look at Metallica, and I love the building. I love the building, but I do not love being a sardine when there's 56,000 people in the building.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine if they sold more seats on the floor. If they would have sold more tickets at Metallica, I don't know how much worse it could have gotten.
Yeah.
But you have to go up in Commonwealth Stadium to go down or to go across. That's what I was traveling across the tops.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, and Matt over here in the chat, he really brings a good point. Because those cheap tickets get by. And that's my fear, that with this, if they want to make it a viable product, that they're going to have to get money somehow. And that's going to come at the cost of ticket prices, concession prices.
But if you field the winning team, the people will pay to watch.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If this team can get back to the green and gold glory that they were just 6 years, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, if they can get back to that point, then the slight increases won't matter that much. Also, you could be doing a lot better with the food and beverage stuff in the building.
Of course.
Right? Like how many people now, even the tailgate, right? Like the tailgate, it's truly the heart of it all. It's truly the heart of it all, right? But more people are, kind of eating before the game as opposed to eating at the concession.
Totally. There's no way.
Now, I will say, Green and Gold Dog, we do need to see it make a return. But the value menu at Commonwealth Stadium when I was at Metallica, I will say that the value menu was fantastic. I've never had so many hot dogs. I ate so many hot dogs at Metallica. It was fantastic.
He came down with 4 and said, these were only $20.
Yeah, 4 hot dogs, $20. I'd like compared to any other stadium in North America, it is fantastic. But outside of the hot dog, right? You see so many complaints, and I mean, you see the complaints from every other major venue here in town, right?
Oh yeah, no. Right now the prices are affordable at Commonwealth.
At Commonwealth Stadium, the prices are affordable, right?
100%. I mean, there's no way you gotta take. I said it before as a joke, but not really. You gotta take a second mortgage to go see one of the Oilers games with the concession prices and the ticket prices. So at Commonwealth, we have it so good when you think about other venues and other places that you can go. And I mean, the Riverhawks, Remax, they know what they're doing. They have a fantastic pricing too.
Shabazz in the herd chat. What up, Shabazz? Lower Bowl almost sold out for Saturday.
We're so close.
Lower Bowl is almost sold out. I had multiple people get a hold of me for tickets today. I got to make sure I get my dad some tickets. My dad's going to be making a triumphant return to Section X as well, so that's very cool. Fantastic. Thanks, Shabazz, for checking out the show. Also, thank you for that update. We are breaking some news here today.
Oh my God, it's exciting. And even before with the Upper Bowl open, I always say that I think it looked worse when you had people in both levels and it looked so spread out, and it really made it feel like not a lot of people showed up. But just you wait, seeing all those people filling the lower bowl, the ambiance, the environment everybody's going to be so pumped that it doesn't really matter that there's nobody at the top. I think at that point it's just like a visual thing, like maybe it's an eyesore of some sort, just seeing something so empty. But that's not even the point. The point is that you have so many fans all together in one space, just the way that you wanted. All those people that keep saying that they need a more intimate venue, that they need something a little bit smaller, a lot more intimate. You have that with the lower bowl of Commonwealth Stadium.
Well, and I think where people are coming from as well is with the track ring.
Yeah,
it pushes it all out, right?
I keep hearing that if there was one thing that fans wanted to see with a lot of these renovations was to bring, get rid of that track
and bring the seats closer. And there, where there's a will, there's a way. We've seen it time and time again where people will find a way to make things happen. This team is finding a way to win. The architects can find a way to bring those seats closer. Miami has done it, Hard Rock Stadium. I saw the example here. I did see the example at some point. I don't think it's in the herd chat, but on X, I believe. But Yeah, I mean, it's been done.
Yeah.
People have had this, stadiums have had this problem before. It can be solved. They did say at the town hall, we have the biggest stadium, even with the lower bowl, of course.
Yeah.
Matt Soms, do you mean there might be someone sitting in the seat next to me on Saturday? They better bring it. Love that. ELKS, 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 Elks.
You
Let's
know
go.
how many times I've heard that? That people are like, it's nice having somebody to cheer with instead of me being in my own little island.
It's been great for that.
So I personally don't mind it at all. Like, yeah, sure, it's a little bit of an eyesore, and we've even made suggestions of what can be done. Maybe some tarps with some advertising, close it off so it doesn't look so open and empty. But at the same time, for the sheer size of the stadium, when you think about it, if you fill the lower bowl, that's tons of people.
So Lumen Field for Seattle Sounders games, Lumen Field has a crazy upper deck tarp.
Yeah.
Crazy upper deck tarp where they make it look like the pitch.
Yeah.
Like it looks like the field.
Listen,
but up in the sky.
A green screen, and on TV it's just a whole bunch of like different ads.
What if you just had giant TVs that covered the seats? Now that would be cool.
Projectors.
Why not something? But no,
crazy.
I do think there should be a tarp there. It's been bugging me. Oh, just wait till we make our playoff run this.
I love it.
It's on right now, brother. It's on right now, man.
It's exciting. It's exciting. And like you say, if there's a will, there's a way. Now the next will and the next way should be, as Ryan Messer says here in the chat, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Hot dogs, drinks, burgers, fries, nachos are all $2 each. And third-party restaurants have to charge the same they do outside the stadium. Listen, I am all for a budget menu or whatever.
Yeah,
value budget. I mean, it is within my budget. Value menu from like Popeyes.
Yeah, right on. I mean, or at least just charge the same that they do on the outside. Yeah. Because it's like, around like $15 for sandwich. I still want a Popeye sandwich, but unfortunately, Herdy's fills you up.
Matt here, fill the stands with cardboard
cutouts.
Do it of like past season ticket holders.
Yeah.
So cute. Have you seen those pictures, those meme of the old couple that went to every single game and now they're
cutouts? Yes.
That'd be cute. That'd be wholesome.
Keep my memory in Section X forever. Let's go up here in the herd chat. Oh, Andrea's going to be tuning in from a wedding. Andrea did ask way up here in the herd chat. She was asking what the opinion was on the town hall. Oh, we see Game Day Baby in there. Calvin, Candor. We got a lot of herd chat to go through. It's right around here. But she was asking, were you happy with the town hall tonight? And I think that's a really good question. Unfortunately, we were not in the town hall. We did not get to see it. We actually got to break the news based on what people were telling us because we had to get the scoop from everybody else and then piece it together. But I will say on 3 pieces of news, I'm happy about that. New Jersey's coming. Gold numbers coming.
Super love it.
And Grey Cup 2026. I think that those are all fantastic. Outside of that, I didn't really hear that there was too much. So I don't feel like I really missed out on too much. But those 3 pieces of news, I like that.
I feel like those make fans happy.
Easy crowd pleasers. Crowd pleasers.
That's what matters, right? I mean, fans matter. And we've heard it before. People don't like the white numbers. They want the gold numbers. Hey, they listened. We're going to bring it back. New Jersey is always fun. New Jersey is always nice. That's always
merchandise, sales, yeah.
Of course. And who would not want a Grey Cup in their city? Now, the only thing, as we mentioned, is to make sure that the Elks make it to that Grey Cup.
Exactly. Now let's bring this full circle. Does this modernization happen for next Grey Cup? Will it happen before the next Grey Cup?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, that's just a couple of years away. We know that a lot of these construction projects take a lot longer than that. They can. It really depends. I mean, I don't know. And a really good question that John has asked here in the chat, how will construction work during football season? I mean, the potential Grey Cup, that's done. The bid is done. That's a couple of years ago. Coming from now.
Yeah, in a
That
couple
would
of
be
years.
in a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
of
yeah.
years, and that would be the goal, I'm assuming. But I'm not sure.
Well, and I think too, I mean, obviously Commonwealth Stadium is not Larry's responsibility. It's not his problem, right? But it
Mhm.
becomes his problem with owning the Edmonton Elks. Now, if you're really trying to display the city, and for football, this is the penultimate game every year for the Canadian Football League. And when you're hosting that game, you want your city to be on fleek, as the kids would say, right?
On
You want it to be on
fleek.
point, on
Yeah.
point. So you would want Commonwealth Stadium to be
Mhm.
the most beautiful it's ever been. LED lights aren't going to do that.
Mhm.
Okay. The green, it was weird. Like, and it was just this year that I actually looked at it. This is the first time I've ever looked at it. I said, wow, she getting old. It's like, whoa. Because I looked at the 75, right? They draped, instead of putting on a
Yes.
decal, they draped the 75 banner over the metal panel. And I looked up at the metal panel and I was like, and it was, I think they even still had the Heritage Classic stickers on.
Yeah.
I looked at it, I was like, woof, woof. She getting old. Commonwealth Stadium is showing some age. The walls of Jericho could use a fresh coat of paint. And
Yeah.
it's in those moments, and then you see this modernization, you're like, yeah, she is old. I
She
knew it
needs
was
it.
old.
She needs it.
And
It's about time.
oddly enough, though,
It's about
what's
time.
like one of the easiest ways to modernize a building? You add windows. Everybody just adds windows to things to freshen it up, right?
Yeah.
But
Shabazz over here. I have zero insight, but my thinking is something happens venue-wise before a potential breakup
and I
here.
think
Yeah.
that, especially with the timing of this coming out, right?
Mhm.
There is potential that something, whether it's done in phases,
Yeah.
and John, getting back to John's question particularly,
Mhm.
I think this might be something that's rolled out in phases.
100%. I could see it. I think I saw a comment by Matt somewhere down the chat. Put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
That's where you start. Fresh coat of paint. You know,
Do the
modernize it a little bit, just with things that are easily accessible and things that can be done.
less costly, yeah, less
Less
costly,
costly.
easier,
Yeah.
accessibility kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like things that are not so invasive.
of course. Well, and we've seen it with the washrooms. They've done a wonder. They did a really good job with the washroom paints. I'm glad that some of the mirrors were back. You don't like seriously, guys. Being a woman, you're in a woman's bathroom and there is one mirror. Horrible. I don't know what you guys were thinking. You don't have a packed washroom full of women and just one mirror. But those ones are back, thankfully. But things like those, just little bits that add a little bit of brightness. One thing that might help, like even if we don't bring the windows, because again, I'm a little iffy on those windows. I definitely think that if they put windows all around, it's just gonna be a heat box, especially in the summer days. But
Blinds. But anyways,
yeah, but just like a fresh coat of paint, because everything is like cement, right?
well,
Everything's so dark.
I will defend that because they did for the washrooms.
Yeah, no, but
They did the
outside in the
washrooms.
concourse,
Yeah, there's
like
something's got to be done.
paint it
Yeah.
white.
No, that's
That will
sterile.
no, but that will bring brightness in or something like that. Because right now it's really dark.
You
That's what it
complained
is,
about the
right?
modernization renderings being all white.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but that's outside. Like you don't want it to look like a contemporary museum. This is not the MoMA. It's not. But something to brighten it up so that it doesn't look so dark. Because I
Dungeony.
think that's what people complain about, that it's a little too dark, it looks too much like a dungeon. And if you add something, we all know this, whoever has tried to sell a house, when you sell a house and you want it to look bigger, you paint it light. you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, I mean, Shabazz, same deal. B portions in the off season is, I guess, if
mhm.
is my guess, in phases of improvement. So
Mhm.
construction, yeah, I mean, usually they don't do that stuff in season, especially if you're going to be messing with those panels.
Mhm.
You can't have that kind of disruption to fans or
Yeah, no, especially not in season.
not
A
in
lot of the
season.
construction would probably happen off season.
Yeah. Larry said fireworks will be back on Saturday. That is actually a huge piece. And that's one of those small things we've been missing on
Mhm.
touchdowns. There's nothing cooler than looking up after you get the touchdown and you
Yeah.
see the firework, because that's what I usually look up for, is like touchdown Elks.
Kids
And you look for
love it
the
too.
totally
Kids love it.
Jets fly over on Saturday. I think that's something that we are all hoping for,
Maybe.
because
So,
Calgary got something. So once
you,
again, if Calgary gets it, then Edmonton's got to get it too.
you know, the only thing that I will say about the flyovers is that we usually miss them because we're packing up from the tailgate and we're getting in, and it's like the first thing that happens. And
Oh,
we don't miss them because we hear it and we obviously see
yeah,
them
we see
because
them,
they're right there.
but
But
we're not in the seats.
it's such a cool experience when you're in the seats and everybody's looking at them and experiencing them. So
Oh, okay. So sorry, John here is saying that the fireworks is
mm.
that John, is that going to be a post game fireworks, or is that fireworks on touchdowns? Because
Mm.
I would like to see both, but fireworks, or even then, some pyro when the Elks come out. We miss
Yeah,
that. It's those little touches and those little pieces of game day, right?
yeah.
Punter
No,
is
I
going to
think
ride an elk onto the field before kickoff. Matt Soms in the herd chat.
I don't know how true that is, but you know what, I would watch that. I would stay behind for that.
And then let's go through. I did see Calvin had commented. I saw a lot of comments there. Do we got a couple we can get to here before we close the fan forum and announce the winner of?
Already.
Well, we're at 138.
Yeah. I'm looking. The one comment that I did see is what a failure by the province. I'm not getting the World Cup matches in
Yep,
Edmonton.
that is a
Very
failure on the province,
true.
unfortunately.
Very true. But I think we went through pretty much all of it. So
Okay.
how about do we have a winner?
Alrighty, so now is the biggest part of the show. We're going to close off today's show by selecting a winner for this tailgate pass. The tailgate pass is supplied by our good friend Neil, who actually is the main tenant of stall 181. So we're in stall 182. This is for stall 181. You will have to grab this tailgate pass off of us before you go in, or you can swing by here and come pick it up. We'll disclose the address, but not live on air. But of our HQ2. But yeah, so let's go ahead, and I'm just gonna go ahead with a number wheel.
Oh,
And the number wheel is about to select who won.
I can attest to that. It's being randomized.
Interesting.
Nobody wins it.
Nobody wins. The lucky winner for tonight's tailgate pass giveaway for the September 7th Labor Day rematch. Andrew Benassi.
Oh,
Andrew Benassi won.
yay!
Nice.
We
Congratulations,
have Steve here in the
Andrew,
chat.
and more than likely Steve is going to be partying it up beside us as well.
Love
So
it.
congratulations, guys, on that massive win. You guys win the tailgate pass. That is cool. That is really cool.
Woo! Have Steve here in the
Steve
chat.
Benassi and
Love it.
Andrew are going to the tailgate. Thanks a lot, everybody, for entering. That was a lot of fun. Well, I'm sure we're going to have more giveaways on the show. Candor, thank you. Appreciate you. Like I said, this tailgate pass is supplied by our good friend Neil, who he can't make it. And I think, maybe there's like one game a year that unfortunately can't make it to. And he'll offer it up for the fans. So really, really sweet. If you ever meet Neil, ever see Neil, make sure you grab him a beer or a hot dog or something along those lines. But Yeah, we'll make sure we introduce you at some point. But
Definitely.
yeah, that's that just about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Did we have any other comments here in the herd chat?
No.
See Calvin.
Just congratulating Andrew on his win.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Andy's going to be missing this one, right?
Yeah, we do have a few people that we know that unfortunately will be missing this game.
Oh,
I'm
and
sure, like, listen, they're going to be at a wedding, and Andy already said that she's going to be tuning in anyway. So
same deal. Neil's at a wedding. Neil is at a wedding. Everybody's
way too many weddings. Come on,
everybody's squeezing in their last second weddings. Right?
I feel like everybody should have, please give us your schedule ahead of time, the CFL schedule, and plan weddings around that.
Yeah, because the weddings are usually planned a year in advance, right? But it's Labor Day, and it's going to be plus 31 down at Commonwealth Stadium.
One.
Get that horse
that
out of
reminds
here.
me, I'm gonna go buy one of those little fans with a mister right now because it's gonna be a hot one.
Oh, so good. Nice, Matt Songs here. Andrew, congrats. I guess he's supplying the pregame pops. And make sure if you do have pregame pops in the tailgate, make sure you bring a red Solo cup. Be a good neighbor. Be a good tailgater. And
we always have some extra ones if you happen to forget them.
Stall 182, salt and pepper wings, traditional salt and pepper wings, burger cook-off from 3 to 4. So we will be busy. We will be. Maybe we'll do like a shh work in progress sign, for the stall. Wouldn't that be good, right?
Yeah.
That would be sweet. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Let's close it. Well, hold up. Before we do, Calvin C in the herd chat, because unfortunately we didn't get any of Calvin's comments on, so we got to get one in here.
Okay.
Calvin, what up? Do you think if new GM and coach are brought in next season, will G-Roy and Jarius stay with the team? So would Jarius Jackson go down to OC? Would G-Roy stick around? Now, I'll say this: G-Roy Simon has been doing a lot of the GM duties since working with Chris Jones. Like, he's been doing a lot of the GM stuff. He's been seeing exactly what Chris Jones is doing. He's getting that experience. Will he be able to do enough this season to earn it for next season? I think that's the question, right? Is he, because I don't see G-Roy stepping back into an AGM role. Or maybe he does because he knows that he can't get a gig elsewhere at GM. Or maybe he's assistant GM over in BC. Or whatever, right? And I know it's not that easy.
Yeah.
But maybe he goes and decides to be an assistant GM elsewhere to build up his resume and to move along to GM.
Yeah.
That's obviously the trajectory for him. And then you look at Jarius Jackson. Well, Jarius Jackson has more than likely always wanted a head coach role. No offensive coordinator wants to be an offensive coordinator forever, right? So he's in his role now. If this team goes on a playoff run, I don't see why you blow it up. If this team flounders and falls apart and misses the playoffs, I don't see why you keep it. It's that simple, right?
Yeah.
Now, if a new GM and coach are brought in, will G-Roy and Jerry stay? No, I don't think so. I think they leave.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't make sense for them to stay unless it's the same roles, with the experience that they're getting, especially if the Elks go on a good run. I think there's a lot of pieces to that. There's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hypotheticals. There's a lot of things that could go right or wrong for either of them.
Yeah.
So I think it's too early to say. It's still, we always say that the beginning of the season is the Labor Day games, right?
Labor Day series, it's the second start of the season, the true start of the season, the most meaningful football of the year. And you know what? It's been the most meaningful football in the history of the name of the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah.
This has been nothing but fun, nothing but fantastic. It's been a pleasure having pride in this team again. Instead of, just kind of praying you get a win, now this team is actually doing things. It's special. And we have an opportunity to break a 22-year-old record.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
It's this weekend.
And that's just the beginning of what could potentially be a run.
Yeah.
And then at that point, that's when you evaluate and you figure out what will happen with the team.
Oh, totally. I mean, 0-7, it looked pretty rotten, right? 4-8, all of a sudden it looks like it's a Grey Cup contender. So we don't know where we're going with this season yet. I don't know if they're going to bring in a new GM and head coach. Could they? Sure. Do I want them to at this point? No. But it's Larry's business, right?
Yeah.
All that matters is this Saturday, like game day, baby says here. Let's get the win, baby. See you at the game, my man. Stall 182 can swing on by.
Let's do it.
All right, let's close the fan forum. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating in that fan forum. That was a blast. It always is. It's always a blast. And now we're going to shut down the show. We're at 147. Tons of news today. As always, head on over to at the Elks Herd on X to get all of our latest breaking news. We try to break it as soon as we get it. So pretty cool, pretty cool today that we did manage to break some of that, which is really sweet. Calvin, shout out to you, Candor, Andrea, Matt, everybody in the herd chat here, John Anthony. It is a very exciting time to be an Elks fan. The games against Winnipeg are big. First, we got to get through this Saturday.
Little by little, step by step.
Game by game.
This one first.
All right, everybody. We got to thank you for tuning in tonight. You, the viewer or the listening, whether you're watching on YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or on Facebook, which is the Elks Herd, or you could be listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or Edmonton Sports Talk, or your favorite podcatcher. While we're here, or if you enjoyed the show anyways, give us a like and subscribe and a follow and a favorite, all of that good stuff so that you don't miss the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Scout, a.k.a. the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, a.k.a. Do You Even Elks?
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call, and we will see you on the next episode, hopefully, with a Labor Day sweep. Go Elks, everybody. Cheers. Don't forget your ABCs either.
Have a good night.